Hello, and welcome to part 4 of our 9-part series with our chair yoga. So today's lesson is mid-range advanced. So if you're not warmed up, I would invite you to do a little breathing or gentle movement to get yourself warmed up, or you may want to visit our part 1 of the chair yoga series for a great flowing move to get you warmed up and ready for this. So if you're ready, come and join me in your chair. I'm moved forward in my chair just so I have room to move. You may not need that room. You may be okay back in your chair. You may have enough range of motion. So finding your comfortable position and getting yourself into focus. I would invite you today, let's just roll those shoulders around. Rolling them around the other direction. And let's place the arms on the thighs, palms facing up. This just helps to relax the shoulders a little bit more. So from this position, find your breathing, find your focus, set your intention for today's lesson. We're going to be working on a goddess flow. This is a very common yoga flowing move that we do standing. So this is going to get you a lot of those same great benefits without having some of the balance concerns that you may have from the standing position. So let's deepen the breath if you haven't already, as you're focusing on those big inhales and exhales. You may want to create some small head movements, nothing formal, just rotating around, just loosening up the head, neck, and shoulders. Bringing any head neck movements to a close, wrapping things up, making sure you're balanced on each side. And we're going to move into some deeper breathing, just to fuel the body, just make sure we're prepared, as some of these movements may constrict our breathing slightly. So we're going to make sure we're properly oxygenated. Some big inhales reaching up. Let's clasp those fingers together if you can. Index finger pointing up, so we add a little back bend here. And just hold this and breathe. These are the arms from our Warrior One pose, which we're going to get to in a future lesson. Try to let the shoulders drop down away from the ears. And let the breath keep moving. And go ahead on an exhale. Let the arms flow down. Go ahead and rebalance the head. We're going to practice the arms for a Warrior Two. Again, we're going to add the legs in a future lesson. So, Warrior Two arms, we're going to inhale. Arms come up shoulder level. Reach out from the fingertips. Feeling that opening up across the upper back. Let's turn our head to the right. Look over those right fingertips. Your breath is moving in and out. On an exhale, we're going to sweep the head across the front. Keep breathing as you transition. Next exhale takes you all the way to the other side. Maybe feeling that power in the arms as they're starting to get warm, they're starting to get tired, they may even be trembling. Go ahead and release. So roll those shoulders out. And I'll roll the opposite way. Now we're going to change the leg position. So I want you to scoot forward on the chair if you haven't already. But again, make sure you have enough of the chair seat underneath you that you feel stable and balanced. You're not going to fall off. You're not going to slip or slide. We're going to open those legs up, toes pointing out, probably a 45-degree angle. They're not all the way turned to 90. And to start, I want you to just cross hand to elbow, hand to elbow. Now we're going to stay here and breathe for a few breaths. You may be feeling some sensations in the neck and in the shoulders, and you may want to move the head around just slightly. If you're able, I want you to let those arms start to drop down in between the legs. This may be a challenge for you. You may need to rest the arms on the legs. Or if you're more flexible, you may be able to reach the hands to the floor. And your advanced move would be keeping the hands in this position. So you have 3 options. Simple, mid-range, and advanced. Whatever position you're in, you're breathing. You're noticing where you're feeling this. It may be the inner thighs, it may be the back, maybe the shoulders, maybe into the hips. Depending on which version you're in, it's going to change the stretch and the intensity. And when you're ready, slowly lift yourself back up. And rolling out those shoulders. And we're going to work on releasing the shoulders a little bit more. So I want you to place the hands on the knees, and we're leaning forward just a little bit. Right hand is going to push into that right thigh. We're not pushing on the kneecap, but what we're using it as leverage, we're going to drop that right shoulder down. It's not going to come down real far, but we're getting a nice opening them up into the shoulder, helping to encourage this right hip to open, and you may even feel it at the top of that hip. Left arm is doing kind of whatever naturally happens with it. You don't have to force it or change it. Just let that left side move as it needs to. And you should still be breathing. And we're going to lift back up through the center. Take some nice deep breaths here. Using the arms or not, just to fuel the body. Preparing for the shoulder stretch on side 2. Left hand's going to press into that left thigh. Right forearm resting on the thigh or wherever it kind of feels natural for you. This left hand pushes into the left thigh. Left thigh's pushing back into the hand. So we're using that to help drop the left shoulder down. You're getting a little bit of a twist here. Relaxing and releasing into the shoulders, the backs, the hips, the low back, upper back. Lots of different areas affected here in this subtle move. If you're like me, you may be feeling very different sensations from each side. One more breath. Slowly release out here. Go ahead and lift back up. If you need to change the legs, go ahead and do that. Shake them out. We're going to go back into that position. If you're okay there, I'd invite you to stay there for the challenge. But if you need to, I want you to know it's okay to change. We're going to take a few more deep breaths as we prepare for our next move. Big inhale. Whatever position your legs are in, I would invite you on the next exhale to add a forward bend in. Add that forward bend a second time if you like. Closing out our breath cycle as we prepare the legs for another move. So back into the wide stance if you're not already there. We're going to do a side bend. So your side bend may be simple, hands on the thighs. You may just be slightly shifting your weight, and that's okay. You may be able to go into it a little deeper. If you're just working gently, I would suggest here you stay here and just flow side to side, exhaling on the side, inhaling through the middle. If you're more advanced, you can follow along with me. I'm going to show you 2 more options. Right forearm is going to stay on the right thigh. Left arm is going to lift. Notice that my shoulders are stacked here. I'm not folding forward. May feel better just to have the hand to the head, elbow to the sky. So this arm can do just about any movement that feels good to you. And if you're more advanced still, this right arm can come off of the leg, reach down to the floor. So you're using even more of your core strength to keep you supported here. So you've got a couple different levels here. Flowing between all three options or choosing one that works for you. If you're working one side at a time, we're going to stay here for one more breath. I'm going to slowly release that top arm. Flow yourself back to neutral. I would suggest a little simple twist in the middle before we bend to the other side. If you're flowing, you may want to take a break, take a few deep breaths, and prepare to continue flowing as we go to side two, or you may have another favorite pose you want to substitute here. So if you're working with me, again, we're going to either just shift our weight side to side and start flowing that side bend, or if you can work a little harder, left forearm to the left thigh. Maybe this is all you need. Maybe right arm stays down and you just feel this stretch. You may be able to add the arm in any of the positions. The important part is that the shoulders stay stacked. What this arm is doing is just a little extra, kind of like sprinkles on the top of your donut. It's great to have, but it's not really necessary. If you're more flexible and you want to try the harder option, left arm reaches to the floor. Really using your core strength to keep you supported here. But again, you've got options. And that doesn't mean that if you're working to improve that you don't try a harder option for a breath or two, and then ease back into the simpler one. That's how you improve. Whatever position we're in, we're going to stay here for another breath. Go ahead and release that top arm. Lift yourself up. Let's go ahead and change the legs. Let's shake things out. And we're going to do a twist to counterbalance all of that. So let's bring the feet on the floor, knees together. Again, I'm staying forward in the chair. You can adjust as you need to. What we're going to do is fold forward over the legs, belly to the thighs. This is going to be just a very simple movement. As we twist to one side, let the right arm float up. On the exhale, it floats down as we inhale and change sides. So flow in your own range of motion and with your own breath. Your lifts may be very small. So if this is your capability, that's okay. You'll be able to get up further. What we're doing is moving the body through some different ranges of motions we don't normally do. And that's where we get stiff and sore, because we're usually repeating the same types of motions over and over again. Sometimes we got to do the oddball things to awaken the body. One more time each side. Releasing, we're going to hang in this forward bend just a little longer. But I invite you to bring hand to elbow again. And just hang out here and breathe. Releasing the lower spine. Hands coming back to the floor. I'm going to lift back up in our chair. One last big move, we're going to do a hamstring stretch. We've done this earlier in the series, but we're going to focus on the right leg. Foot extended out, heel to the floor, toes pointing up. Left leg, and kind of move wherever it's going to feel good for you, but basically it'll be in a similar type position. And then we're just going to fold forward again, being very careful where we don't lock the knee. Softness in the knee. I'd rather see you bend the knee too much than straighten it too much. Coming forward over that leg. If you're really flexible, you may need to move that left leg out to the side so you have more room for folding forward. If you're less flexible or working with an injury, keep the leg here to help bear some of the weight of your body to keep the stretch from being overly intense. I'm going to slowly lift out of this side. Nice big breath in the middle. Hamstring stretch on the left side, or whatever opposite side is for you. If you're working with me, left leg extends out. Remember, this right leg stays basically this position. If you're more flexible, you might want to angle it out so you have a deeper fold forward, or you may intentionally leave it here to help hold some of your weight. So when you're ready, folding forward. And I would invite you to always let the leg help you out to start. Find your position, find your breath, and when you're ready for more flexibility, then adjust the leg. We always want to ease into our stretches. Unless you're already warmed up, you'll always want to have the body doing some movement before we get into any deeper stretches. Changing the leg at any time if you need that support. Remember, it's okay to ebb and flow in and out of the different modifications. And when you're ready, we're going to lift ourselves back up. You can just gently move those legs, maybe tap things out. Just get some feeling and sensation going back in there if that leg position was a challenge for you. I would invite you, let's just close out this practice with a simple flowing twist. As you exhale, we're twisting to one side. Inhaling back through the middle as you twist the other way. And just repeat that flow a few rounds. One more time on each side. And when you feel balanced, I'll meet you back in center. And we'll close with 3 cleansing breaths. Inhale, involving the arms or not. Exhale. One more time, big inhale. Exhale. One last time, your biggest inhale so far. Holding as we move into prayer. We close out today's practice. As always, I appreciate you joining me here on YouTube and joining me for our chair series. Be sure to subscribe and get those notifications so you know when our next video drops. Thank you again. Namaste. Go in peace.